I welcome you all in the next video tutorial of the chromatography series. So in this video, we are going to cover the most important technique of chromatography, that is the column chromatography. So let's start without wasting any time. Let's start the concept of column chromatography. Please see this Google image. So in general sense, we can say, suppose you are going for an examination. So here is written in the notice board that there is a row 1, row 2, row 3. So I will just give you a brief idea about the rows. Here these are the rows and these are the columns. So columns are of these types, okay, and rows are these straight. And when I type in the Google images, that is the column chromatography, I found these results. So these type of chromatographic techniques are the column. Look at this. This is the column. This is the glass column. The generally column are of different types, different lengths and different diameter. So this will all depend upon the sample you have to analyze or sample you have to separate or isolate. And generally column chromatography, look at this image, very beautiful photograph of column chromatography. Look at this, again a very important, yes, very important photograph. So column chromatography is generally used in the isolation purpose also, and largely it is used for the purification purpose. Purification of what? Purification of mixture that is present in the particular extract. Okay, or we can say column chromatography is also used for the isolation purpose. Suppose you have to isolate lycopene from tomato. You have to isolate lycopene, which is the main chemical constituent of the tomato. What will you do? You will apply, you will go for the column chromatography, but not directly. Not directly. You do not directly go for the column chromatography. First of all, you have to perform the extraction, a particular extraction method. Only then you will obtain an extract and you go for the TLC, then the column chromatography. Okay, after the proper identification, only after proper identification you can go for the column chromatography. Okay, and in this case also you have to perform the recolumning. It is not necessary that you have set up an instrument and one column, you run a one cycle from this column and you will get a compound. No, you will have to collect number of fractions. You will have to collect 10, 20, 30,000 of fraction might be from the column, and the recolumning is done. Again column chromatography, then you again purify a mixture, then again column chromatography, then you will again purify a mixture, then so further, so on. So column chromatography is a tedious task, it's a lengthy procedure, and one must acquire a precision in doing the column chromatography. Okay, so let's start. So I got this article from the internet that is very important. Separation techniques of chromatography by Ozalm Koskum. So in this article there is one line that is very important. It is used for the purification of biomolecules. Okay, just remember this thing. It is used for the purification of biomolecules. Yes, the basic principle of the column chromatography is adsorption. It is based on the principle of the surface phenomena, that is adsorption. So it is a surface phenomena. When the stationary phase is a solid and the mobile phase is liquid or gas, it is known as the adsorption chromatography. So in column chromatography also we are using different type of stationary phases like silica gel, but of different grade. And mobile phase in the column chromatography, in the general sense, we use different type of organic solvents. Just see this. So when a mixture of components dissolved in the mobile phase is introduced into the column, the individual components move with different rates depending upon their relative affinities. See this diagram, photograph of column. So in this way, these are generally the glass based column. So in this case, first of all, you have to do the packing of the column. So sometimes there are sintered columns are also available in the market. Just see this. This is a sintered column. So in this type of columns, you do not need to add any cotton plug. But if this is not sintered, then you must add a cotton plug. Otherwise, what will happen when you add stationary phase into it? The stationary phase directly goes inside this opening. So you have to close it with the cotton plug in case of if it is not the sintered one. So above this is stationary phase and this is mixture, and there you will put a solvent. So for doing column chromatography, you need Most important thing, yes, first of all you need a stationary phase, then you need a mobile phase, then of course you need a sample. That is here always a mixture. Okay, so stationary phase in case of normal phase chromatography. In the column chromatography we are using a polar stationary phase like silica gel, but of different grade. Okay, especially made up of column silica gel. For the column chromatography it is special grade silica. You see this is silica gel 60, especially for column chromatography. Okay, we do not use silica gel G, that is used in the case of TLC. In the column chromatography, use different type of silica gel of different grade. Okay, and mobile phase we are using the column chromatography is generally a organic non-polar solvents like chloroform, methanol, or even their mixture. And in column chromatography, generally two type of elution systems are used, or you can say mobile phase are used in two forms. Number one is the isocratic elution, and number second is a gradient type of elution. I hope you have idea about the elution. Okay, so in isocratic elution, it is nothing. It is a very complex term, but its meaning is very simple. Iso means same, kratic means throughout. So in isocratic elution, look at this: single solvent or mixture of component of constant composition is used throughout the column. That is, it will remain, the system mobile phase will remain constant throughout the column or throughout the procedure. Whereas in the gradient mobile phase we use two or more solvents, okay, for the elution. Please see again, this is the reference from the difference between.com. So in the isocratic elution, the mobile phase has a constant concentration. Okay, but in the gradient elution, see this, where the mobile phase has a varying concentration. Okay, for example, a common separation method uses methanol 10% initially and ends at 90%. So we have started with the 10% methanol and it end with the 90% methanol. That is meaning that we have increased the polarity of your mobile phase, that is by increasing the concentration gradually. This method is known as the gradient elution, and generally we follow the gradient elution. Okay, oh, it is also depend upon the sample that you have to isolate it or the separate, or you can say the purify. Okay, so see again, first of all you have to put a cotton wool here. If this column is not sintered, okay, then in chromatography, column chromatography, you need two things majorly, that is the stationary phase here, especially silica gel. Okay, and here above the stationary phase you will add a mixture of components, and above it you will add a solvent. Okay, please see this. So this is the column. So here you have a stationary phase. Here if it is not sintered, you will put a glass wool or cotton plug. Okay, then the loaded sample above this is your mobile phase. Look at this again, stationary phase, above stationary phase there is a sample. Okay, and here is your mobile phase. Now the question is, how separation take place? Yes, it has a simple answer. The compound which has lesser affinity towards the stationary phase will move faster. Why? Because these compounds has greater affinity towards the mobile phase, and the mobile phase is generally non-polar, so it has a tendency of to move. Whereas the column, the compounds which has greater affinity towards stationary phase will move slower. Okay, hence elute later. I think this is clear. So we will do the next topic, next part in the next video. So thank you for your listening, and these are the various references that we have used in preparation. Okay, and I acknowledge all the online resources, that is the Google Images, YouTube, SlideShare, etc. for preparation of this video. Okay, thank you for listening. I welcome you all in the next video tutorial of the column chromatography. This is the part 2 video. So we have discussed about the basics of how to do packing in the column. So let's start how the separation take place. We have also already covered this, so let us recall again. The separation of the compounds present in this mixture is due to the affinity of the compounds present in this mixture either towards the stationary phase or towards the mobile phase. Okay, here it is written the solvent. And if the compounds which are having, suppose this is a compound is a mixture of, this is a mixture of three compounds A, B and C. Here it is written A, B and C. Suppose if these compounds, out of these compounds, if they have greater affinity towards the stationary phase, they will elute later. Why? Because stationary phase has nature to remain stationary and it will remain static. Okay, and out of these compounds, if some compound have greater affinity towards mobile phase, it will elute faster because mobile phase has tendency to move and it will move faster. And always remember this thing, in normal phase chromatography we are using in this case a polar stationary phase like silica gel of special grade. Okay, and the mobile phase that we are using in the column chromatography is of non-polar in nature. Okay, like chloroform ethanol mixture. So let's see. So this is next diagram is this, that is A, B plus C. Then again here it is C. So what does it infer? It slightly means that the compound C that is elute faster, it moves down the column faster, means this compound has greater affinity towards your mobile phase. And mobile phase we are using in the column chromatography non-polar, means this compound is somewhat non-polar in nature in comparison to these compounds. Okay, A and B. Okay, so the compounds which has greater affinity towards the mobile phase, they will elute first, they will come out first in the column and they are slightly non-polar. Just see here again, look at this, this is a sample. So here it is the green band, that is, it says weaker interaction, but weaker interaction with what? Weaker interaction with the stationary phase. So it is elute fast, it will elute at early stage. Okay, whereas these compounds, they have stronger interaction with what? With stationary phase. That's why they will elute later. The first fraction is of your green compound and second is of your yellow compound. So means green compound, we can also say that green compound is also slightly non-polar as comparison to yellow compound. Why? Because we are using a non-polar mobile phase. Okay, and in the gradient elution, what we do, we gradually increase the polarity of our mobile phase, or we can say we gradually increase the polarity of this column system. How? Suppose, just see in gradient elution, suppose if you are using chloroform, suppose this is chloroform, or you are using chloroform methanol mixture in the ratio 1:1. Okay, suppose you can see, we can say 10:1, it become easier. Okay, in gradient elution what will we do? Suppose, just see here again the compounds. Suppose you have collected this fraction and the mobile phase is your 10:1, that is chloroform 10 and methanol 1 ml, and you have collected your green compound. But yes, yellow compound has greater affinity towards stationary phase, or it is polar in nature. So what we have to done, we have to increase the polarity of this mobile phase, only then yellow compound will elute, otherwise it will not elute. Because why? Because it is the greater, or we can say it has a polar nature. So what we do in the gradient elution, suppose 10:1 and you will get your green compound. Okay, in second case what will you do? You will increase the polarity of your mobile phase or the solvent system, and suppose you do the polarity in this way 10:3, and yes, you will elute your yellow compound. In this way, in gradient elution we will increase the polarity of the mobile phase. Again you can see this is the column. So here this is the packing of the column. Always remember one thing, the diameter or the height of the column, depending upon the sample, you have to separate it. Okay, again this is the packing, this is very important figure. So this is top coat, this is glass wool, this is the, sometimes you will add a sand layer just add it to as uniform layer occur, so that separation will get uniform. Okay, this is alumina, or you can also use silica gel as an adsorbent as a stationary phase, and here this is written the separation of band or the separation of compound. But sometimes you might not able to see the separation. Okay, and this is your eluent or the mobile phase. Okay, see again, this is the again the cotton plug, the sand layer is given. Okay, packing of done with the adsorbent, or you can say the stationary phase. Again the sand layer is just added to ensure the uniform separation. Okay, and above sand layer there is a sample. This one is the sample, and above sample your mobile phase is there. Again see here, this is cotton plug, this is the column, you can see silica gel, sand layer to protect the silica gel surface to ensure the uniform packing, uniform separation, and here is your, this is the solvent level, solvent, that is your mobile phase. Okay, now this is important, packing in the column. First of all, what is the primary step in the column chromatography? We have to pack the column, okay, with the stationary phase. So there are two methods of packing, nothing, they are very simple, dry packing and the wet packing. Dry packing is nothing but in the dry packing we directly take the silica gel powder and directly add it in the column, whereas in the wet packing we take the stationary phase and it is added with the sufficient amount of the appropriate mobile phase, and then it is added in the column. See again, packing of the column, first is dry packing and second is the wet packing. Okay, in dry packing we directly add the your adsorbent, okay, that is silica gel G or alumina etc. In the wet packing we have to take the your silica gel G or your adsorbent and we will mix it with the some mobile phase. Okay, and then it is packed. So what happened, first of all you pack the column, okay, then you load your sample. If you want to add a sand layer you can add also beneath the sample, and above the sample you will add your mobile phase. Okay, and for the preparation of sample, again there are two methods, dry sample packing or the wet sample packing. You can use a liquid, that is your wet sample, or you can prepare a slurry with the adsorbent, and then you add in your column, and that is your dry packing of your sample. Okay, I think we will not confuse with the packing of the column or the packing of the sample. Packing of the column again dry and wet methods, and packing of the sample again dry and wet methods. Okay, I think this is clear. So after the packing, what you will done, elution starts. Elution, you will select the mobile phase, isocratic elution or the graded elution, and it will start collecting of the fractions. And what happen after the collection of fraction, which is the most important step? Yes, you have to go for the TLC. Each and every fraction you need to perform the TLC procedure. Only then you will know about the which type of compound these are isolated or purified. Okay, so each fraction you have to perform the TLC studies. See this again, this is a chromatographic column, stationary phase is added and the mobile phase is also added above your sample. Suppose these are the components present in the mixture, so these are represented by green, red and blue. Okay, so tell me please, the green compound, what is the nature of green compound? Yes, it is non-polar because it has affinity towards your mobile phase, and generally we are using the non-polar mixture of mobile phase like chloroform methanol. So which one is the most polar? Yes, blue one, because it has greater affinity towards the stationary phase, and stationary phase is nature to remain stationary, to remain fixed. And of course, yes, we are using, in this case we are using a polar stationary phase like silica gel. So it means it has somewhat polar in comparison to this compound. Okay, so the non-polar compound will elute first, and yes, we have to perform immediately the TLC of this compound, of this eluted compound. We have to perform the TLC studies. See again a photograph. So weaker interaction will elute first, whereas the stronger interaction will elute later. So these are the various reference I have used. So this is important. I acknowledge all the resources that I have used to prepare this video. Thank you. I welcome you all in the part 3 video of the column chromatography. So in this video tutorial, we will do the different types of the column chromatography. different authors have classified column chromatography in different ways, but what I got in the various from studying the various resources and as far as my experience, because I just want to make you familiarize with my experience with the column chromatography. I have done my MPharm project from the CSIR IHPT Institute, that is in the Palampur in Himachal Pradesh, and I am really lucky that I worked on different aspects of column chromatography. I got a certificate from the renowned scientist Dr. Bikram Singh in the LCMS and LCNMR techniques. So I have worked on various column chromatography. So I found this type of classification very useful. You might also found different type of classification or different types of column chromatography in different books. So you will also write down that, but I found this useful. So let's start. The types of column chromatography. First is the adsorption. Second is the partition, then ion exchange and gel chromatography. Because in all these type of chromatography, that is the partition or you can say gel chromatography, particularly in the ion exchange, we use columns. And columns, for example, in partition like GC, we are using a circular column also. Okay, it is not necessary that the column is of this shape. Okay, so adsorption is liquid, mobile phase is liquid in adsorption, whereas stationary phase is solid. We have covered this. Okay, this is the normal phase chromatography, that is adsorption. Second one is the partition, in which yes, mobile phase is liquid, whereas stationary phase, look at this, immiscible solvent on a solid matrix, and sample is solution. Ion exchange, yes, mobile phase again a liquid, but the stationary phase again changes. It is an ion exchange resin. I have also worked on this part. This is very crucial, very important chromatography, that is the ion exchange, and very interesting also. Okay, and also very costly. These are very costly technique. Again, gel chromatography, again very expensive technology of column chromatography. Mobile phase is liquid, whereas the stationary phase is solvent. Look at this, solvent held in the interstices of the polymeric. Actually, a particular gel is used. For example, name is Cefadex LS20. Yes, this is Cefadex LS20. This is a special grade of a particular substance or a chemical that is used in the gel column chromatography. It is very costly also. And in natural chemistry, this is widely used for separation of flavonoids. To see in detail again, adsorption chromatography, in which the components of the mixture are selectively adsorbed on the surface of the packing of column material, that is adsorbent. Okay, we have completed this. And in partition chromatography, we have covered the basic principle of partition. I request you to watch the video again and then do this partition column chromatography. Okay, and we know in the partition column chromatography, we are using, look at this, component partition between the mobile phases and the stationary phase held on the inert solid support. Basically, the principle of the gas chromatography, or you can say the paper chromatography, works on the principle of partition. Yes, HPLC also, high performance, yeah, high pressure liquid chromatography also work on the principle of this partition chromatography. Then ion exchange, in which we use an resin. Okay, and in gel chromatography, yes, we use a specially permeable gel and the separation will take place. So let's see some application of the column chromatography. So it is best suited to separate active principle from different plant materials. Yes, it is widely used for the isolation, or you can say the purification, separation of different secondary metabolites like alkaloids, glycosides, flavonoid, etc. Second one, to separate impurities from a particular mixture. Okay, isolation of metabolites, like I say, from curcumin, from curcuma longa. We can isolate a lycopene from lycospermum, that is tomato, and so further so on. There are numerous examples. Okay, that also used in the synthetic industry, in the phytona medicine, phytomenadione tablets and injection. Actually, basically, this is why this was written, because this column chromatography is not only used in phytochemistry, it has wide application in synthetic or in medicinal chemistry also. Okay, it is widely used for the purification purpose and for the separation of different type of ions also, inorganic impurities, inorganic materials also, etc. So, for example, determination of quinine in ethanolic solution, yes, it is determined by this separation of carbs. Okay, natural mixture alkaloid glycosides. Again, a synthetic drug is there. Phenothiazine in the presence of diphenylamine and carbazole. Okay, so there are different advantages also. Like any type of mixture can be separated. There are wider choice. Automation is simple, very simple procedure. Any quantity of mixture can be separated. Yes, disadvantages. These are time consuming, but now we have developed different type of column chromatographic methods like flash column and vacuum column chromatography. That is very fast also. More amount of mobile phase are required. Yes, it requires mobile phase in larger amount. Okay. So please see the difference between standard column chromatography and flash column chromatography. In general sense, the standard column chromatography is also known as the gravity column chromatography, because in this the separation is achieved only by the gravitational force. Okay, the solvent will go slowly, very slowly inside your sample and then towards your mobile stationary phase, and then it will elute out. So one fraction may take about 1 minute to collect. So it is a quite a lengthy procedure, but we have modified this procedure, and there is a concept of flash column chromatography. Flash column chromatography is nothing, it is same as column chromatography, but the main difference is here. You can see here you can attach a pressure pump. Okay, just suppose you have taken a mobile phase here. This is your mobile phase, and you will attach mobile phase with this pump. What happens? This will pump again again it will take this mobile phase from this with the help of pump, and will again with the help of pressure it will pressurize your mobile phase to go inside your stationary phase with the faster rate as comparison to the normal gravity column chromatography. So flash column chromatography is faster method and modified form of the column. Please see again, this is again a vacuum liquid chromatography. Again, suppose this is your small column, and here is your stationary phase, here is your sample, and here is your mobile phase. Okay, and just see, this is the vacuum attached from this point. So it will create a vacuum, vacuum pressure is created, and the solvent will go inside your stationary phase at the faster rate. Okay, so this is all about the column. So these are references I've used to prepare this video. I acknowledge all the online platforms that I've used to prepare this video. This video is intended only for the education purpose, so do not share this in any platform. So I thankfully and respectfully acknowledge all the educational resources. Thank you for your time. See you in the next video. I welcome you all in the next video tutorial of the column chromatography. So in this video, we are going to cover this topic from a very famous book, that is from the G.R. Chitwal. So let's start the concept of the column chromatography. So it was an American petroleum chemist D.T. Day and M.S. Lister, is the father of chromatography in 1900, who developed this concept, and they both used this principle in the plant pigment, or you can say the separation of the plant pigments. So here is a diagrammatic representation that is given in this book, that is the column chromatography. Here is a adsorbent layer. Yes, sample is put, and above the sample, yes, we have to put an eluent, or you can say the mobile phase. And look at this. Suppose this is a mixture of A and B. So this mixture gets separated into two. Finally, again, separation occurs. Okay. Now see the apparatus. So this is the apparatus that is mentioned in this book. Again, as I told you earlier, the glass full is only required in that case where you are using no sintered column, and in some time we are using the sintered column. At that case, we don't need any glass full. Okay, so this is the column packing, and we have discussed dry and wet method of packing, and eluent is there, and above that is the eluent, this is the mobile phase. And some column chromatography like flash column chromatography, we also use the pump. So with the help of this pump, this process fastens basically, because the normal column chromatography is generally based upon the gravitational force, or sometimes also known as the gravity column, because it works on the principle of the gravity, and due to gravity the small drops are eluted, and it is a quite lengthy procedure. But nowadays we have attached a pump above this point, due to which this process is fastened up. So we can easily fasten, or we can easily achieve the separation in less time. Okay, so it talks about here in this book the gradient illusion. We have already covered this. So there are different solvent strengths are mentioned, like, so this is the polarity chart, you can say, n-pentane, cyclohexane, toluene is non-polar, again a non-polar, and these are the polar ones, like methanol, you can ethanol, methanol, and formic acid. Okay, then there are different type of detectors that are sometimes used in the sophisticated column chromatography, like optical detectors, differential refractometers, flame ionization detectors, and conductivity detector. As column chromatography is a very wide term, because in GC, that is the gas chromatography, yes, we use column. Yes, in HPLC, yes, we use column. Okay, so column chromatography implies to large number of these techniques. It covers these methods. Like in gel chromatography, yes, again a column is used. Okay, I'll show you. Just see this. So this is the column that is used in the HPLC, but in the laboratory I have showed you the glass column. So these are the very costly columns which are used in the HPLC. Look at this. So you, now the question arises, sir, where we will put the our stationary phase? Yes, always remember this thing, stationary phase will always inside your column. So inside your column we have to put our stationary phase, and in case of HPLC we are using the reverse phase silica, that is C8, C18, C4 bonded silica. Look at this. Okay, so again this is a column, here is written C18, so this is C18 column. Inside this you have to put your stationary phase. Let me type again column of GC, you can clearly see yourself. I am writing in the Google Images. Wait a second, COLUM and column of GC. Okay, let's see. Yes, these are the special type of column that we are using in the gas chromatography, coil shape. Look at this shape, this is the coil shape, and there is a reason behind using this type of column in GC, because in GC we are using the mobile gas as a carrier gas as a mobile phase. So it will increase the retention time of the components to be separated. So this is the advantage of the GC columns. So again, column of, let's I say I am writing the column of the gel chromatography. Let's see what are the Google Images results. Look at this again, these are the various column of the gel chromatography. Okay, so just see this. So what I want to say, that a number of columns are used, and there are different type of detection method have been developed in the later stage. Okay, in the, suppose we have to detect in the glass column, so there is no need to have any detector, but in sophisticated column chromatography, yes, we need different type of detectors, like UV, like refractometers based upon the principle of differential refractometer, and of course the flame ionization detector is again very famous one. Okay, so let's start the method of introducing a sample. Again, just see here, bands eluted are developed after elution. Here you can put a sample, cotton pad or sand layer is there, again a solvent or the solvent reservoir or mobile phase is added. Okay, so let's see this. The dimension of the column is very important. Just read this. It is possible to improve the column efficiency by increasing the length width ratio of the column. For example, 1 is to 2, or 1 is to, sorry, 1 is to 20 to 1 is to 100. So different type of ranges of the columns are available. Okay, so particle size of the column packing, yes, it will vary upon the adsorbent or the stationary phase that we are using. Okay, then the temperature inside the column, this is widely used in the gas chromatography, where we have to maintain the particular temperature of the column. Now the different type of applications are given in this book, like it is used in the column chromatography, used for analytical purpose, for separation of the different type of geometric isomers, separation of diastereomers, separation of tautomeric mixtures, and the separation of the racemates. So basically in stereochemistry, you can say it has wide application that is given in this book. So I hope this will give you a brief idea about the column chromatography from G.R. Chatwal book, that is analysis book. So I fully acknowledge this book, this author of this book, and thank you for your patience, thank you for your time. See you in the next video. I welcome you all in our next topic, that is the column chromatography. So yes, in my hand, this is a column. So just see this. This is the cinctured column. So yes, we do not have to put cotton here because this is already closed. But sometimes if there is no closing here, then we have to put the cotton plug. Okay, so let's start. So as you can see, the column chromatography, this is your column. Okay, so for chromatography, yes, you need majorly two things. Yes, stationary phase and mobile phase. So let me draw the stationary phase. This is the cinctured. Here is your stationary phase. Suppose I have drawn this point from this point. What is this? This is your stationary phase. Yes. Sometimes you have to add a sand layer above your stationary phase. Suppose I added a sand layer so as to do the uniform separation, so as to do the uniform procedure. Okay, and above this is your stationary phase. And yes, in case of column chromatography, we generally use silica gel, but of different grade, not silica gel G. Silica gel G is used in the TLC studies. Okay, then above the sand layer, you will put your sample. This is your sample. And you know, sample is it is a mixture. It is a mixture. And above sample, you will put mobile phase. This is your mobile. This is your mobile phase. And in column chromatography, we generally use organic mobile phase like chloroform, methanol, ethanol, ethyl acetate, benzene, toluene. It will all depend upon the sample that you have to analyze, that you have to identify, that you have to purify, or that you have to isolate. Okay, so mobile phase is your organic solvent. Suppose it's present as organic solvent. Okay, so basic principle in case of the normal column chromatography is your adsorption. And I hope you have covered this part. Surface phenomena, that is the adsorption. So in the column chromatography, we generally use stationary phase and mobile phase. Stationary phase, silica gel G, that is of polar in nature, whereas the mobile phase is of non-polar, that is organic solvent. Okay, so the main question, how separation take place? How purification take place? Yes, the answer is very simple. Yes, separation take place because of affinity. Yes, affinity of the compounds present in the sample either towards stationary phase or towards mobile phase. If I say, if the compounds present in this mixture have greater affinity towards the mobile phase, yes, they will elute first. I hope you know this is the elution. Mobile phase will elute it up. So the compounds which have greater affinity towards the mobile phase, they will elute first. Okay, they will elute first. And they are of non-polar in their nature because mobile phase in this case is non-polar. And the nature of mobile phase is to move. So they will carry all the components which have affinity towards them. Okay, in second case, if the compound present in this mixture have greater affinity towards stationary phase, they will tend to remain stationary. They will take time to come out. They will take time to come out. They will tend to remain stationary. And they have polar in their nature because in this case we are using a polar stationary phase like silica gel, that is of polar in nature. Okay, so they will elute in the later part. They will elute in the later part, that is of more polar. Okay, I think this is clear. I will pause here a bit. So always remember one thing, elution or the system. Elution is of two types. In column chromatography, we use two methods of elution. Yes, I request you please go video number 1, video number 2, video number 3 of column chromatography and then watch this video. You will clear all your doubts. So elution two types, isopratic and gradient. Sometimes iso means fixed. When the mobile phase is fixed throughout, the composition is remained fixed throughout the procedure, then it is known as isocratic. But many of the time we have to increase the concentration of this mobile phase, or you can say the polarity of this mobile phase gradually. Suppose, just see graduate, what are the gradient dilution? Suppose you have done chloroform is to methanol. You have added a mobile phase, chloroform is to methanol, and you start this column and will collect a fraction. Suppose you have to collect 2 fractions. So what is the next step? After the collection of fraction, you have to perform the TLC studies. And in TLC, suppose this is your TLC. This is fraction number 1, this is fraction number 2. Suppose in TLC, they lie at the same RF value. Suppose in TLC of fraction number 1, fraction number 2, they lie at the same RF value. Means it gives an indication that these compounds might be same. So what will we do? We will mix these two and make it one, because they contain same compounds. Okay, I think this is clear. So suppose, just one thing, suppose this sample is your mixture of 3 compounds and you are isolated 1 and 2. So for the isolation of this third compound, we have to increase the polarity of your mobile phase. Why? Because this compound is more polar in comparison to 1 and 2. So what will we do? We increase the polarity. Suppose in first case we have used 10:1 as a mobile phase. In this case, first and for 1 and 2, you use mobile phase 10 chloroform 1 ml methanol. And for the isolation of this third compound, for the separation of this third compound, we have to increase the polarity. For example, chloroform 10 with chlor 2 ml. When you increase this polarity, yes, this third compound will came. And we have to again perform the TLC. Okay? So, remember one thing, we do not take only 3 fractions. In column chromatography, we have to take number of fractions. And these fractions are later added. Which type of fractions are added? Which have same RF value. Okay, I think this is clear. So, this is a simple concept of column chromatography. First of all, you have to pack the column. So, this is the column. So we have discussed there are 2 methods of packing this column. See, this is, I have already packed this column for you. So this is the glass column. So inside I have added, this is the silica gel powder. Yes, I have taken a silica gel G, silica gel of special grade, not G. Silica gel of special grade, it is meant for the column chromatography, and I have added in this column directly. And I have started the tapping. This is the tapping of the column. So in this way, this is the dry method. But in the wet method of packing of the column, you will take this powder, the silica gel powder, and you will add in a desired solvent system. And then you will add in the column. And that packing is known as the wet method of packing of your column. Okay? And okay, then I will add a sand layer if I want. Then above the sand layer, I will add my sample. Again, there are 2 methods of adding a sample. Either dry method or wet method. In the wet method, you generally make your sample with the liquid that is dissolved in the particular sample and add the liquid. But in the dry method of packing of sample, what you will do, you will prepare a particular, you will add a particular amount of adsorbent in your sample, and you will make a dry powder. Okay, and then you will add it over here. And above this, we will add a particular mobile phase. Again, there are 2 methods of adding mobile phase: isocratic deletion or gradient deletion. Suppose I have added chloroform only, and throughout the procedure only chloroform is added. This is known as the isocratic. But in case of gradient, suppose if I added chloroform is to methanol and I have collected 3 fractions, and next I have changed the polarity and added chloroform is to methanol 10:2 ratio. I have increased the polarity of the mobile phase by adding methanol, because methanol is more polar than chloroform. Please go by video of the polarity index. Okay, so I have added a mobile phase here, and then collection of the fractions. Okay, and the collected fractions, these are identified by using TLC. And in the same way, I have collected number of fractions and I will mix them based upon their RF value, and finally the isolation part or the purification part is done. Okay, so I hope this is the major concept of the column chromatography.
So this is clear, I think. Thank you for your patience, for your time, for your listening.